We're back after 40 minutes of the last live, and we've got some good news to start off with. The first big pressure which we all had, that's off now. थोड़ा आसान से आप सुस्ती लीजिए अब शांति से बैठ के मैच देख सकते हैं हम सब अभी, क्योंकि इंडिया बैटिंग कर रहा है। पहली बात तो ये अच्छी बात है कि इंडिया टॉस जीत के बैटिंग कर रहा है, और यू सॉ दैट द मोमेंट इंडिया won the toss, the crowd knew it, everyone knew it, whole India started breathing a lot easy. But what a toss to win, isn't it, Sandeepani?
Exactly, and I think we had spoken about Rohit Sharma not going on to win some of the critical tosses. Oh wait, that was Virat Kohli. Rohit Sharma has always gone on to win some critical tosses. But yeah, I mean it's a great news for India, and I think the first, I mean there are 10 or 15 things that they need to tick to go to the finals, and I think the first thing has been ticked off. And batting
Yeah.
first is the right call. Like we said, the dew is going to settle in after 7:30, 7:45. But how many batters will get dismissed within that time is a huge concern as well. So I think
Hmm.
with the bowlers being in excellent form, Bumrah, Siraj, and Shami will look to make
But you think
inroads.
one bowling attack who can possibly even counter-reduce this one? Because you saw South African bowling really struggle against Bangladesh even after that 21 over phase. But Mahmudullah came and scored 100. But Glenn Maxwell, everyone knows after 8 p.m. what he did. You saw that with Mark Wood and Atkinson as well, how he went on to, how those both went on to take on South African bowling post that 8 p.m. phase. So ultimately, if we come down to the very fact, this Indian bowling is one bowling attack you can possibly even counter that, isn't it?
Exactly, and I think they will look to do that, especially because I mean, India have that firepower in them. They are the best bowling team right now. They have 4 players in the top 10 of the rankings. Not to talk about the rankings as well. If you just talk about the World Cup stats in itself, I think this Indian bowling contingent has been unmatched. They have been far superior to all the other teams that have set their foot on the field. Having said that, I think it all comes down to this important clash. Yes, they have the
Yeah.
resources to tackle Dew. Probably Kuldeep Yadav is going to find it the hardest. The other pacers, you still think that they will be able to control their line and lengths. They are world class bowlers, and also the likes of Jadeja is one bowler that can just skid through the line, and he can even be a bit more dangerous than some of the other left arm spinners when the dew sets in. But Kuldeep
Yeah.
Yadav is the bowler who will find it very difficult to grip the ball because a lot of his variations and abilities depend on how he grips the ball. So
Yeah.
that he's that only one bowler who is probably finding it very difficult. But let's not talk about that scenario right now, because I think first of all it will be the onus will be on India to post a big total, because you have seen in the last game that has been played here, 291 was chased down by Australia. It was one of the best chases
Yeah, yeah, I
in the
agree with
history
that.
of ODIs. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But if you look at the way in which how Team India has also gone about their business in this particular World Cup, they've not really been, under pressure batting first at all. I mean, I really thought batting first, India will have that extra bit of pressure. Okay, that's one thing which we had at the start of the World Cup. India should starting to bat first because come the big finals and semi-finals, you will have to bat first and win games because that's where your biggest strength lies. And I think India has done one thing very right, is that they put pressure back on the opposition batting first is to score big runs. And where things have been really difficult, India have been the better batting side even there. The England match is a clear cut example. India used the conditions beautifully. And Sri Lanka game, or let's be the South African game. South Africa game, the condition was also difficult. It was a very slow surface in comparison to what you're going to have today. And you managed all of it. And I think South African bowling attack was far more superior than a New Zealand attack what you're going to face today, isn't it?
Exactly, and I think India have been very good at assessing conditions, because even in conditions where you feel that 270 or 280 would be par, India have gone on and targeted to score 270 and not look to score beyond that. If they reach a stage where they have wickets in hand and they have say 10-15 overs and they know that they are at a safe position to at least reach that 270 or 280 whatever barrier that they have set, then
Yeah.
they can go and attack from then on. And I think that is something India has done beautifully. Only one game out of the 4 games where they have batted first, India haven't looked the best while setting a target. That's been the game against England, where they have been a bit tentative. Kohli facing a few dot balls, tries to release the pressure, gets out, and probably in the game against Sri Lanka as well, there was some tentativeness from Kohli and Shubman Gill early on. I think that is something that they look to count. Better this time around, even if they lose a wicket early on, because I feel Rohit Sharma is just going to go out there and play his way of cricket. That is putting pressure on world class bowlers like Trent Bolt, Tim Southee. He's not going to care about the pedigree. He's just going to go out there and care about getting a positive start, score 65, 70 runs of the first 10 overs. And that
I
is
agree.
where you become very, very vulnerable to lose your wicket away. And that is when a Virat Kohli or a Shubman Gill comes in, or even a Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma comes in, it is going to be very, very important for them not to get carried away and look to finish the game in 10 overs. Know your
Yeah.
plan. They have the game plan ready. They have planned everything in detail. It's okay. Just give yourself some time, apply yourselves out there in the middle, and then the pitch will help you to get those runs. Because as you mentioned, 2 to 6 p.m. it is going to be the easiest to bat at Wankhede, and I mean any team should look to exploit it. It's
Yeah.
a very, very good sign that India has won the toss.
And I think if you look at New Zealand's strength as well, they love playing on surfaces where the bounce is not a lot, but Wankhede is one surface you get a lot of bounce. Now, you think that's going to really trouble them because if you look, there's a true bounce that's agreed. And if you really need to bend your backsides, so Bumrah and Shami and Siraj, they can extract a lot of bounce. And if you look, New Zealand have struggled whenever the bounce has been slightly more in excessive of what they like to face. If you look, the surface of what they play in New Zealand, surfaces they play anywhere across the world, they like to play on surfaces that are soft, where the bounce is on. True, England is one area where they really like to play because the bounce is pretty even there. And where the bounce is slightly more excessive, like Mumbai you have, or for the matter Pune or Ahmedabad, it's not going to be that easy for them. That they're going to have that struggle against short pitch bowling. Some of the players are really good players who score cross batted shots, but still they're predominantly players who like to get on the front foot, who like to get the ball at a height where they like to prefer playing. Swing will not trouble them, but certainly bounce will.
Exactly. And I think it is going to be very, very, very important not to lose early on wickets early on. I mean, India have, we were seeing the stats yesterday. India has lost only 9 wickets in the power plays in the 9 games. So has New Zealand. But India has scored at a much faster rate when you compare them with New Zealand. You have to give credit to the game against South Africa and Netherlands, which has propelled their power play score to 91. They scored 91 in each of those 2 games. But then again, it's very, very important not to lose early wickets. Even if you score 45, 50 runs, it's fine. Just play out the new ball. And I mean, obviously, don't let a 10 ball settle in and bowl 2, 3 maiden overs up front to build that pressure on yourself. But then again, don't play reckless cricket. Don't play careless cricket. If you have the ball in your arm, go for it. And I think the only thing that I'm scared right now is that Trent Bolt in swinger doing Rohit Sharma.
But let's just keep that aside for a moment and let's just talk about how much will India be targeting to score. I mean, his in-swingers would have been more lethal under lights. Now, we don't have to worry about it much. His in-swinger is going to be
I think
less
we have to worry
effective.
about it for the first 5 to 10 overs.
Yeah, we have to. We certainly have to. But let's just keep that aside. I think the more you overthink,
Yeah,
the more it's going to affect you, right? More it's going to really, you're going to see that happening more often than not because we always scared of the Shaheen Afridi ball coming in. Ball coming, it came in ultimately at one point, a stage in that World Cup. Now, the moment you stop thinking about it, and the team stopped thinking about it, it became much more easier to play on. And similarly with Trent Bolt as well, he's not. You saw Dharamshala was the best surface for him to really get going. He did not. We nullified him there pretty well.
I think
Although,
Wankhede is under lights. It would have been ideal conditions for a Trent Bolt and Tim Saudi, but I think still Wankhede first 5 to 10 overs, a bit on the slower side pitch, a bit on the slower side. The ball is going to hold on as well. If a Tim Saudi can vary his pace, I think we are discounting Tim
you saw
Saudi a lot.
Madhushanka get a lot of wickets on the same surface with off
Yeah,
cutters. How do you see
exactly.
this wicket playing
Yeah,
around because
exactly.
of
And I
that
think
very
that is
factor?
one thing that Rohit Sharma should really look out for early on in his innings, because I think Shubman Gill is still accustomed to the vary of pace. He isn't that surprised when you bowl him a slower right after bowling a 150-kilometer delivery. But with Rohit Sharma, we have seen that he sometimes get carried away with the shot. He's onto the shot a bit too early, or probably he's playing down the wrong line when you do that changes of pace and when you catch him off guard. That is something Trent Bolt might look to do as well, because uh, we everybody is talking about that in swinger from Trent Bolt. Even Rohit Sharma is thinking about that in swinger from Trent Bolt. So Trent Bolt can just come in and try a Madhushanka sort of a delivery where he bowls an off cutter early on, just to catch Rohit Sharma off guard. So I think that can be a good option, or a surprise delivery that can get Rohit Sharma early on as well. So I think a lot of things rely or depend on how Rohit Sharma performs today. Similarly, a lot of things rely from New Zealand side on how Trent Bolt performs today. But then you
Yeah.
should never discount a Shubman Gill or a Tim Saudi. I think we have still spoken about Shubman Gill on how he hasn't really turned it up in this tournament, scored 270 odd runs, can do a better job. I think this is the stage is set for him to get that big knock. And also for Tim Saudi, I think a lot of players, even I feel that he's way past his prime in terms of white ball cricket, especially. He's still a force to reckon with in the red ball format, but in the white ball format, in T20s and ODIs, I think he can be a bit predictable. He can go for quite a few runs. But then again, you can't really discount him or discredit him for the efforts and the achievements that he has put in. And in knockout games, he can be a very very dangerous factor for India as well. Obviously, India will look to target a Tim Saudi. That is where Tim Saudi, the chances for Tim Saudi to get wickets early on increases as well.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you look, one factor which you need to really reckon with Tim South is that he's got the ball coming in now. I mean, that's he's been very effective in terms of getting that. But in one day format, yeah, you can still say is much more easier to play than the other formats in comparison to what he is his strength stress test. And in these conditions, obviously, now you're giving him the toughest of conditions to ball it. Now, if you look at New Zealand as well, even in that chase against Sri Lanka, though they were trying to chase it pretty early, they have got this issue while chasing where they tend to lose a lot of wickets in clusters. You look at the games, right? Now they'll have that burden, they'll have that baggage of the Australian game, though they came close, of that South African game where they were absolutely defeated, pitch tampering accusations from British media. I mean, come on, man. I'll show you a visual of a game in an ICC tournament. I think it was a World Cup final, if I'm not wrong, or it was New Zealand taking on Sri Lanka. I couldn't really identify the pitch and the grass out there. Now, don't they keep bringing this nonsense every now and then? I think for once and for all, they should stop at it. I think that's about it from us. I mean, the game is going to start in like a couple of minutes or a few minutes from now, so we will be ending our live stream right here,
Yeah.
um,
If
because
teams
we
are
want to
down
get,
for the national anthem, I hope
yeah.
that
So we'll get going for that because it's so important, such a big game, and we don't want to miss any bit of it. So that's about it from us. So if you already watched us, we already came early. So this was just a toss update which we wanted to do
yeah.
very quickly. See you all
And
very
I
soon.
think fantasy picks as well. I think we can go through the fantasy picks real quick.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
what
just
do you
put that
reckon?
up
Some
on
of
the
the
screen very
X
quick.
factor picks.
Yeah, last time if you haven't already made your teams in Boom 11, get that right now. Yeah, this is the fantasy picks. KL Rahul is a wicket keeping choice. You've gone with Dal Mitchell, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. Either you can pick a Shubman Gill or Shreyas Iyer. Then you
You
can go
can
in
pick
with a
a
Mitchell.
Shubman Gill as well, and I think also you can probably get in a Kane Williamson as well. On if if you are on that what to say left field choice will be Kane Williamson.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's about from us. I mean, we will be joining you post the game, hopefully with some good news. Take care and see you all. Bye bye.
Yeah.